Let's talk about examples. Now keep in mind, I've got that working definition that I'm using. Let's look at examples. Let's talk about examples in the classroom. I find teachers all the time that love using examples. They say students need to have an example to work from. I don't disagree with that. So here's what happens is I have Leslie turned in a project and it was, oh my goodness, it was amazing. And so I say, Leslie, what are you going to do with your project? Well, I'm going to throw it away. Can I have it? Well, here's what the teacher does. The teacher says, now we're getting ready to make one of these. We're going to do this assignment, and this is one of the ones that one of my former students did, and Leslie did this, and this right here, this is a great example of what you're going to be doing. Now I'm going to tell you what happens in that. Pam looks at it and goes, well, I'm not doing that assignment. I can't do that well. Heather looks at it and goes, that's 100? I could do that with my hands tied behind my back. That's 100. So here's what we do with examples. I don't use great work for examples. If I'm going to use an last or past student's work, I use a 70, about a 70. A 70. I find one that made about a 70 grade-wise, because here's what the students say. What grade was, they're always going to ask what grade was. What did they make for a grade? It's about a 70. Now Pam says, I think I could do that. That doesn't look so daunting. I think I could do that. Now then, we've got Heather in a real quandary. If that's a 70, what does 30% more look like for 100? Because I'm really thinking I want 100 on this. Do you see how examples, and we also have a tendency to use an example exact to the piece of literature we had, exact to the whatever, and all they do is they're using a recipe. Guess where the picture is? Here's the picture. There's nothing imaginative about that. I'm asking you to use the picture. I'm providing you the picture. Here's the picture. Now I want you to do this. Are there times that I want that in the classroom? Yes, there is. There are times that I want to have my students do exactly, this is the picture, do this. But we have a tendency to put it out there and say, here's what you're going to do. Where is my ability to have them look at a picture in their head and say, this is what I see in my head and here's what I want to produce out here? So we need to think about examples. When are examples appropriate? How do we use examples? What do I use them for? Do I use a totally different, we read this piece of literature and we're using this example over here from a totally different piece of literature, and this is a movie poster and we're going to be doing some sort of board game, but I'm giving them the idea that we're going to do an open-ended sort of assignment with it. It depends on what you use the examples for, but examples can be hampering. And again, go back to the behavior. We're talking about affirmation. When I do that, I'm the one that's important here and you're not. You do not get a say in this. I'm doing this and you're not. I want to ask their advice. What would you like to do? What would you, and that's the way they perceive it, that they have some say in the whole example thing.